not thankful for the epilepsy. I'm thankful for my parents and their understanding of the situation. Even though medically not a lot was known. This is now early 70s. So I'm a 69 born boy, giving away my age. And in 75, 76, 1975, 76, not a lot was known about epilepsy in South Africa, I think on a global scale. So my parents could have done what most of us parents do, where we look to protect our children and say, well, it's too dangerous, you can't do this, you can't do that, too much risk. And they were adamant from the beginning that as long as you don't play rugby, you can do anything else. To the extent that when cricket with a hard ball, I was the only kid in South Africa wearing a helmet. No other kid wore a helmet. Now there's obviously regulations and rules when you play hardball cricket in South Africa. I'm not too sure if the same applies in India. Kids have to wear a helmet. They had to bring a helmet from England. There was no helmet in South Africa for schoolboys. So really grateful that the support my parents gave me, the understanding that they had of the situation, because that's a large part of the biggest issue with epilepsy. And it's amazing to hear the advancements in medicine, the advancements in surgery, neuromodulation, which is not invasive, but it's more around the nerves and training the brain. I mean, I'm a coach. I like to think that we can train people, and the brain is such an important part of cricket. We know that a lot of the game, especially 5 days of test cricket, can we talk about test matches? A lot of that happens in the brain, right? It's not just the cricketing skills. So it's amazing to see the advancements that is happening on the medical front. But I think it's still a large part, what has been left behind, is the awareness and the stigma that's still attached to people with a condition. It's not an illness, it's not a disease, it's a condition that is treatable, that can allow people to lead a normal life, as long as it's diagnosed early and it's treated. And I think that is, for me, one of the major reasons why, I'm not somebody that gives a great deal back to charity, because there's so many deserving charities around, whether I'm in South Africa or in India. But this is one that's really close to my heart, because without my parents' support, I would have been stuck and boxed as somebody with epilepsy, not as good as, or not capable of achieving something as great as playing cricket for my country, because my parents would have put me aside and said, just for my protection. So I'm really grateful for that support, and it's amazing to see, even with the advancements in medicine and surgery, that we still get together and focus on this very, something that I'm really passionate about, and that's treating or diagnosing and treating epilepsy and making it available for people across India. Because I think, again, a big part of what is happening is that in outlying areas, the cost of getting medicine, the cost of getting treatment, or even taking work or days off to get your child or your relative to be diagnosed or to get treatment, it can be costly towards families. So it's amazing to see that there is this organization that Aster is doing, specializing in epilepsy, because it is something that I feel very strongly about.
Epilepsy is a condition where people tend to have 2 or more unprovoked seizures. So seizure is nothing but abnormal electrical activity that causes the brain to behave differently. It may in the form like commonest one being in the form that people fall down or jerking of the limbs. Other types also are there in which people can behave weirdly. They can talk in a different manner, they can see abnormal lights, abnormal feelings. So basically, when people have 2 or more episodes of seizures, then we call epilepsy. So epilepsy, broadly speaking, we can say there are 3 main reasons which are responsible. Some of them have an underlying problem in the brain, which can be seen in a good quality MRI, which may be a problem which has happened to some, in India, most common reason we see is basically some problem at the time of birth, like low sugar or the child having low oxygen levels at the time of birth. This causes brain damage. Apart from that, infection is second most common, and third most common is the road traffic accidents which are responsible. So in this underlying brain damage is there. Other reasons also are responsible for epilepsy. Basically, it can be some brain tumors or it can be some brain developmental problems. These are all reasons in which MRI has a problem which is responsible for epilepsy. In some people, the cause is genetic. In few of them, the family history is there. Like from the one family, the next generation gets the epilepsy. So in this, or in some of them, the patient's own genes can have some mutations without any prior history as well. In this, based on the investigations, we label the cause to be genetic. And few patients, despite investigations, the cause is not found, in which we call idiopathic epilepsy or cryptogenic. So these are the three main causes for epilepsy, broadly speaking.
And so that will cater to the people who are digitally active or digitally in there. But there's a large number who are not there digitally. For them, we are getting to them with print media. We'll try to get them with camps that we are organizing, where we see about 1,000 patients a day and try to select who are those who can help and who will get help from treatment of epilepsy and surgical epilepsy. We have conducted a lot of camps with NGOs, and we have gone to different small districts and villages all through Karnataka at the moment. So we are planning to do the same thing and make our reach much larger than what it is. There's a lot of technology now that is helping us to find out, as Dr. Ravi said, that one spot where the seizure is created or is originating from. So surgically, if we remove that part, then the creation of a seizure is avoided. So again, in surgery, there are two types of surgery. In one surgery, we are curative. That means we remove, seizures are controlled, drugs are brought down, and you can be drug-free. There is another group where we call palliative surgery, where from 100% seizures, we can reduce it to 30 or 20%, which is again a phenomenon. Just imagine a patient having 10 to 15 seizures a day. We've had such patients, and it's reduced to 1 or 2 a month or 3 a month. So that is significant reduction in the number of seizures. So these are the two ways from the surgical point that we can approach a patient.
I think that the biggest, or hopefully where I can contribute towards what Aster is doing regarding epilepsy in India, is creating awareness that people with the condition, it is treatable. And in my generation as a young boy growing up, the only option was through medication, and even that in itself was a bit of guesswork, and you had to wait until the medicine started taking effect. And fortunately these days, with technology, with the advancement in surgery, options are available. And a big thing, I suppose, that the biggest reason why I've come here today, and it was a last minute request from Aster, is that I'm really amazed by what they are providing for people in India with epilepsy. I didn't have this opportunity as a young player, as a youngster growing up, but I had really supportive parents, a very supportive school. So my teammates, my teachers, they all knew I had epilepsy. So I had that support. And you need more than support, though. You do need technology, the advancements, and a life with reduced or without epilepsy for somebody who has the condition is a life change. So I'm here to try and help that.